Hello, Johnny Delgado here, and today I have a really fun topic for you guys. We're going to be talking about static variables. Now, you've used static in other contexts, such as up here, public static void main. But what do we mean when we talk about it in the context of variables? Well, to give you an explanation of non-static variables, those are what you're used to. When you're creating an instance of a class, for example, I've created a pet class right here, and I have a static variable I write as public static int, and a non-static variable that I write as public int. So when we use this non-static variable pet age, this is just going to be set like any other, or this is just going to operate like any other regular variable that you're used to in an instance of a class. It's something that will be unique to that instance and will change based on the object. So I can have, in this example, 7 different pets, each with its own age. Here I have the default value as 5, but I could set it, I could make a constructor and I could set it for a different value each time. I didn't want to actually go through and make the constructor because that's not what we're talking about today. But you can conceptually think about how, okay, yeah, if I have a bunch of different pets, each one's probably going to have its own age. However, as you can see here, I have a static variable that I'm calling number of pets. And I'm setting the default value to 2 because in this hypothetical situation, I'm beginning with 2 pets. And we'll see how it operates in this test environment I have for it. First, it's going to print, my name is Johnny, and I have a certain number of pets. And we call it not by looking at an instance of an object. You might be bothered by the fact that, hey, I haven't created an instance, but I'm still being able to reference the pet class. Well, that's correct. Because when I'm calling a static object, it's the same for every single instance and the class itself. It is static, it's unchanging, or rather, it doesn't change based on creating a new instance. So there will only be one number of pets variable. So I say, hi, my name is Johnny, and I have blank pets, but I want more. And then this loop just goes through 7 times. That's an arbitrary number. And I say, time to buy a new pet. I will create a new instance of the pet class that I'm just calling P, but I could just as easily call it new pet or something like that. And I increase the number of pets, that static variable that was there. I'm going in through the instance and I'm saying increase the number of pets. And then I'm printing out my new pet is blank years old because I haven't changed it to anything. That's just going to be 5 every time. And then at the end, I print out how many pets I have. So let's try running it and see what happens. So I begin with, my name is Johnny and I have 2 pets, but I want more. Time to buy a pet. And I go through this. This is my loop. It's the same thing every time. Absolutely nothing is changing. But I'm increasing the number of pets variable. So now I get to the end, and when I print out, I now have blank pets. Sure enough, I have 9 pets because I began with 2 and I added it 7 times. I can show you how this would work by printing it out each and every time. And I can get rid of the my pet is blank years old. So I have 7 pets, I have 2 pets, time to buy a new pet. Now I have 3 pets, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've created 7 different instances of the pet class. There are 7 pet there are 7 instances of the pet class here. Seven different things, each with their own age. But they all sort of talk to each other and share this number of pets variable. And that's why I don't have to use a lowercase p here because it's a static variable. When I do that, it actually warns me, hey, by the way, you should access this in a way that implies that you know it's static. It says should be accessed in a static way. and it actually gives me the fix of just using the pet class itself rather than the instance. But if I tried to say, uh, um, what was the other one? Pet age, here it has a problem because now it's going to say, no, 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 this is not a static variable. Pet age only exists for each instance, but I can say p.petAge. So basically, use static variables when you'll only have when you have one value that you want to be consistent across all instances of a particular class, or something that you want to be relative to the relevant for the class, not the specific instance itself, such as how many pets I own. So I hope that made sense. I hope you learned something, and there are a lot of different ways to use static variables. Uh, if for example you have a student class, uh, a programming class of students. Now I'm sure you have a class of students if you're a teacher, uh, and you wanted to have each instance be a different student, but you wanted to create a number of students in the whole class variable, you could make that static. And then every time you instantiate a new student, increase the number of students in the class. And so that way you won't have to store each instance in an array to know at a glance how many students do you have in that class, that classroom, I should say. So, hope that made sense. Hope you have a good one, and I hope you learned something. I've been Johnny Delgado. See you later.